That seem pretty real? Welcome to the podcast. My name is Ro. The Pretty Real. If you weren't watching immediately, I was doing something for the camera. I was mugging, as they would say. I don't know who would say that, not me, although I just did. So actually, now that I think about it, there's a 100% chance that I would be the person that would say that. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Stone Genius. That's me. I'm Ro. I'm often stoned. I'm always a genius. So this show should have been out last week. So this doesn't matter. So because you whatever. Anywho, anyhow, anyway. So I'm changing up my medications that I'm taking post stroke. I'm actually trying to get off all medications post stroke. So we'll see if that works out. So I'm doing it at a more intelligent, which is weird because that's the name of today's episode. Oh, come on. Okay, and I don't know if you can hear the sounds or not. So when I record with Bobby, we had all the sounds and everything. But when I record with like Jason and other people, I don't have them. So then I just look like a loon. Like I'm looking for the button, and you guys, if you're watching that, like if someone in the future is watching that, they will be like, he's crazy. Which I'm not saying I'm not. Not saying that I'm not. I mean, I am trying to get off all my meds. So I found out that one of the meds that I was taking, an anti-seizure medication, that was also supposed to help with pain management, does not do well with the old brain-a-rooney. And here's the thing, that at least I'm pretty to look at, per Bobby, not per me. Okay, per me too. And at least I'm intelligent. I can hold a conversation. If I go into a dementia, Bobby's going to be like, nope, don't know who he is. Like she would take me to like Chechnya and leave me. And I wouldn't blame her. And that would be a great way to go out. And I have dementia, so I wouldn't know. But yeah. So, so we're going to see what happens. I will tell you so I was on, doesn't matter the medication right now, 1,800 milligrams a day, 600 milligram capsules, not capsules, pills, whatever. Caplet, I don't know. Tablets, Jason, I don't know. So, and I was taking those every 8 hours. And then they said, hey, reduce that by 600 milligrams, which is a third. So now I'm reducing my intake by 33% from 1,800 milligrams to 1,200 milligrams. And if you are not following this math, stop. Just stop listening right now. You don't have to stop listening, but you're not like, that's like, if you don't like, that's easy. Like, we will get to multiplication tables. Trust me. I'm staring at someone in particular, and we're going to get to that person with multiplication tables. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, so I'm going from 1,800 to 1,200. So instead of one every 8 hours, now I'm doing one every 12 hours. So I've reduced by 33% my intake of this particular medicine for the next, I'm in the middle of the 5 days, nearing the end of the 5 days. And then I will reduce another 600 milligrams, which at that point is now 50%. So from 18 to 12, that's 33%. Now from 12 to 6, that's 50%. So next, my body may even notice this even more. Now, here's the deal. I tried to get off this medication before because I didn't feel great on it. I didn't have backing to that. I just didn't feel great on it. But then when I started to back down off of it, and I was on 900 milligrams at the time, half of what I've just been on. And the pains and needles. So here's the deal with this, my side, my right side. I either have no feeling, I can't feel you touch me, a pin get cut, I can't feel knee replacement, or it's hypersensitive. There's no like, oh, that feels normal. It's either hypersensitive, the wind blows and my skin hurts, or it can't feel anything. So anyway, it got bad. And I was like, well, I'll go back up. And not only did I go up, I was like, maybe if I go up even more, I will have less, which I kind of did. So here's me with my intelligent brain. See, I'm tying this all in right now. We haven't even got into the basis of the show yet, intelligence, but we'll get there. And foggy. I don't know the best way to describe it. When I had first upped the medicine, I just slept. And then I just whatever. Well, because I've seen a lot of things that say that it could raise your chances significantly of getting dementia within 10 years. I was like, hold on. I'm going to try this sound. And I don't know whether you guys hear the sounds or not. So there was a sound of a sad trombone. And if you didn't hear it, then I apologize. And if you did hear it, you'll understand what I meant by this. Okay, I'm going to let everyone know. There's applause there. So if you heard the first sound, you would have heard the second sound. So we'll see what happens. I will tell you if you can hear the sounds, just so you know what's going to happen at the end of the show.
I'm going to do a large majority of the show in this voice, but I'm going to take the headphones off so I don't talk weird. But we're going to talk about this voice specifically. So, and if the headphones, if the soundboard's not working, if you can't hear the sound, then I'm just going to be talking about a sound. So see, I'm covering myself on all the bases.
And I will say that sound, as much as I wanted to make it sound like a rabid Wolverine, which I'm not saying that it does not, it could not. Like, I'm saying there could be a rabid Wolverine that sounds like that. What I am saying is that it's definitely a chipmunk. It's a chipmunk. That sound. And if you can't hear it, Bobby loves it. Like, if she could do the whole show in that voice and she could just hear it in her, but then she'd start talk. And I get it. I do the same thing. It's not her, it's me, it's all of us. But she would. Like, if Maestro would have, like, she wouldn't see me any less than I currently am if I had that voice. Like, if I had that chipmunk voice all the time.
And I was like, hey, baby, you get over here. You give me some loving.
I actually think I may get more action. I'm not saying that for sure, but her eyes are still going to be closed and she may be wearing a bag on the head. Because remember, the bag is for your head. And that would have been a good time to do a snare drum. And if you can't hear the sounds, let's pretend like I did one there. And if you can't hear the sounds, then I was just way too late on that button, which Bobby knows something about. I got that button right. Hey-oh, maybe. I mean, you don't know. You can't hear the sounds, or can you? I don't know. So anyway, so I'm going 800 to 1200, so 33%, and then I'm going another 600 off. So I'm going 1200 to 600, cutting that in half, 50%. So we'll see what happens. Now, do I feel more with it? And we'll get to this. See, I'm tying stuff in today. And this may be the lack of that extra 600 milligrams of, hold on. That extra, and I got to cover my mouth too. That extra 600 milligrams of, I actually said it. Oh, shit. So if you can't hear the sounds, then you didn't hear that sensor, which should have censored my word out that I used. I said the medicine. But if that sensor didn't work, oh, shit. Well, that's what I'm taking. And I don't know. I mean, everything that I could be watching could be when I do research about medicines in my it could be AI. I do not know. It could be AI. I do not know. You're welcome. Let's take on. What are those? Bar scrubs. Oh, are they? Hold on. No. Well, let's pretend like you can't hear the sounds, at least that one, because I pushed the wrong button, which Bobby, once again, is used to. and I hit the button right that time. I gotta move that remote, or the TV will just come on unexpectedly. I'm not gonna need any more writing utensils. Writers, I'm not gonna need any writers on this here intelligent show. Like that is good. Like I don't know, that's like a Southern, because Southern people in the United States. Ooh, okay. So here, I know I take a lot of side trips. They're the funnest, the most fun. They are the most fun. So like I think of the United States like Europe. I get it that we're the United States and we're supposed to be united. Like the United Socialist Soviet Republic. Is that what the USSR stood for? I don't know. I've had a stroke. Let's assume that that's what it stood for. Or switch the S's, replace a word. I don't know, man. I've had a stroke. So, but like it's definitely different. If you travel, and I'm here geographically located in the middle of the country, Kansas City more specifically. So I'm here geographically, and I used to travel a lot for work. I was a trainer, and so I got to meet, I would have classes of, I don't know, 10 to 30 people. And so when I would go to like Minneapolis holes, I don't know what Minneapolis holes. I don't know what people from Minneapolis are called. Minneapolis. I think I'm trying to fit the word assholes in there. It's not that they're assholes, but they do not have a sense of humor. And by sense of humor, I mean a good sense of humor. Like, and I would be killing it up there. And it would just be, once again, I may or may not be using a sound right there. Now I don't know. Maybe it's better that I don't know if there's a sound. Like I'll still incorporate them. Although I will tell you, my job would be a lot easier is if I didn't have to pay attention to that over there at all. Nope, this is the voice you get, and that's what you're stuck with. So many Appalachians, whatever. When I would go up there, they were just, and I get it. I remember one time I was training. I was a trainer with Sprint. I'll just tie all this in together because I was probably going to talk about them anyway. And then, oh my God, how long ago? So anyway, when I was a trainer with Sprint, I would do new hire training. And when I would go, I would remember being in Minneapolis, like in January. And I was used to it getting dark in Kansas City, like at 5. That's usually about the darkest. So it'd start getting dark about 5, a little after 5. It's really in the wintertime, dead of winter. Well, up there, I thought I had run long on my class, which I had like taught this. I was like, what the fuck did I do that this went so long? Because I was looking, I could see the windows outside and it was dark. So I'm like wrapping it up and it's 4:10. I was like, okay, I'll do better tomorrow. I'll keep you longer. Or maybe I won't. Because leaving when it's dark out sucks. So I'm going to tie this in. Here's a couple things. Don't ever go up to someone and say, hey, I have a blank question for you. It doesn't matter. Generally, they'll say, I have a stupid question for you. That's what they're generally going to say. I guess someone could come up and say, hey, I got a super intelligent question for you. Okay, I have never heard someone I have never had, put it that way. Wow, I see it sounds super intelligent right now. But usually they say stupid question. Now, what I would say when someone would say that, I would be like, no. You don't get to choose whether it's a stupid question or not. Decide. I'm the one that gets to decide that. So you just have a question. You ask the question, and then I will tell you whether that's stupid. And here's the thing. The reason I wanted to tie Sprint in this, and the reason that they had to be absorbed by someone else, where's my Jiminy? I'm here. My shoulder, I'm here. Because I can never tell if my nose is right. They used to have a thing where you could not, you could not tell someone, oh, good question. No matter how good like if I was a trainer and I knew my shit about whatever we were talking about. So if someone really asked me a good question, I would tell them. Because I was not shy about. So technically with Sprint in the retail channel, they were supposed to come to me or a trainer first before they went into the store. Because of labor demands, there wasn't a trainer in every market. A lot of things could play into why someone may go into the store before they came to us. Problem is, a lot of times they learn bad habits. So they'd be like, oh, we don't do that in the store. I go, I understand that, but here I'm teaching you the correct way. And I expect you to go back to your store and help teach the others the correct way. And then I would tell them why it was the correct way. I wasn't just being a dick about it. So they used to have a thing where, like, if you were upgrading your contract, getting a new phone, you're upgrading your contract. Well, you had to sign in two different places. You had to sign one that was actually that you're signing the agreement. You also had to sign an early cancellation agreement. They were separate. Well, if you skipped one, neither one of them held water. And so a lot of times they would be told in the store, you don't have to do that. Well, they did have to do that. Literally, it's like, so I would also explain to them why. But you would get that a lot. But anyway, there are a lot of dumb questions. I would say 70% are dumb. And that's harsh. 50%. Let's say 50%. I think it's higher than that, but that's because I'm the one judging whether the question is dumb or not. Like some people may not even be smart enough to know that's a dumb question. Like if someone came and goes, well, so here, if someone asked me, do you think the earth is flat? I would consider that a stupid question to ask me because you obviously never met me. Like, let me use my bald head with the shadows to explain the spherical nature of the earth. Now, I can't tell if I'm sputtering. I don't think that my nose is running or I'm spittling it everywhere, but I sure feel like, okay, I haven't even got to the stuff I wrote down. Welcome to the program. Intelligence. Oh, yeah. So we'll just start. So back in the 70s, everyone was diagnosed with ADD. Like that was just the thing. Oh, your kid's hyper, they have ADD. Here's the deal. If you give someone like ADD medication and say they don't have ADD, you may get even worse. Like the what you thought you were tempering out, now you're actually just exacerbating. It's like giving a crackhead meth or a meth head crack. You know, either one of those, I haven't done either one yet. I'm almost 60. I mean, I don't have that much time left. I mean, do you know how much meth I would have to do before my teeth would fall out of my head? I don't. I have no idea because I've never done meth. And I should. I don't know. I feel like it's probably not a long time. Like that would have to be you get a terminal diagnosis. And then I'm like, I guess meth is now on the table. So, but some of the other stuff, like, I don't know. Can I be a functioning heroin addict for the last 5 years of my life? I don't know, but challenge accepted. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Heroin doesn't, that like, I want stuff that makes me want to hang out with Bobby and be even more kissy on her than I normally am. That's why she doesn't like Dobermans. It's not because of the dog, it's because of me. She's like, I don't need two clingy things. And I get it. And they're both intelligent too. So sorry about that. Like, so my first Doberman D, when I had her and I met Bobby, she was not having Bobby. She was not. She would do stuff. She would just do stuff that was very, you would know, that was intelligent, and it wasn't always meant to be. I've told the story probably before on here. So when Bobby and I first moved in together, Dee decided to mark her territory with Bobby by picking up one of Bobby's I didn't know you had favorite as women. I didn't know you had favorite like makeup brushes and stuff. But evidently, this was one of her favorites. Had a big wood handle, big brush. I mean, it looked more paintbrushish than it did makeup brush. I don't wear makeup. I am not here to judge. And so, anyway, he decided that she was going to mark her territory on that. And by mark her territory on that, what she did was she picked it up and just once she bit down hard enough that all of her teeth marks were in there, and that was it. You could tell that it was almost more like a dental imprint is what she was leaving for Bobby than a fuck you. But that's what she was like. Remember, I had him first. I love him probably more than you do. He lets me, I let him snuggle with me. What else? What else did Dee have going for her? She had a lot, and she had those big teeth, like like the children thing, and the children's nursery rhyme, and the wolf had big teeth. Dobermans had big teeth. I mean, big enough you don't want to mess with them. I mean, can a Chihuahua do a lot of damage? Yeah, but if you wanted to say which teeth are you going to want to be mauled by, it's probably a little guy. If you're going to be mauled, it's always by a little guy. No. I hope you can't hear the sounds because maybe that was an inappropriate sound for that. Dang it, I hit it again. So I obviously still have no idea where my right hand is in space, even when I look at it. Which I will tell you, typing sucks. I mean, I can one finger right hand and look and go, I need to hit that letter right. Nope. I need to hit. Okay, let me. Nope, I didn't get it again. Well, we'll just do voice to text. And then voice to text isn't much better. And then you know what? If you try to go in and you have to go back to a letter, I need to delete that letter or whatever. Then it's like, I don't want a neural transmitter, but literally if I could just look at my phone and the words appear, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I know Stephen Hawking had one of those, and we're going to talk about intelligence. But I ain't no Stephen Hawking. Now, sometimes I wish that I was. This is a side note. This is one of Bobby's freaks. Like, Bobby doesn't have many, like, freaks, but this is definitely one of them. Stephen Hawking. James Gandolfini, that's another one. I don't understand. I don't understand. And I'm not even sure that it's whether he's alive or dead. Okay, I looked and it's color-coded and I made sure. I was ready. That finger was like literally you could chop up the dialogue from this and it sounds like a porn. Actually, you wouldn't even have to chop it up that much. Bobby has a freaky thing about. Hold on.
I am Stephen Hawking.
I am Stephen. No.
I don't. It's neither one of those. But Stephen, like, she hears that. Oh my God. She hears Stephen Hawking's voice. Or even like, I don't know, some old computer. Would you like to play war games? I don't think that's what it actually asks the doctor in that war games. I don't think it actually said, do you want to play war games? Because the kid probably would have said, actually I did. It said, do you want to play thermonuclear war? It was Cheston and thermonuclear war. Am I going to watch that movie again now? Yeah, probably. Because I don't have anything to do. I found a whole slew of horror movies that I'm going to watch with Trinity because Bobby won't even watch the trailers. The James Gandolfini, she wants, that's probably why she attracted to me. You know, she wants someone that is take charge, leave a horse head in the bed next to him. So I get the James Gandolfini. I mean, not the how many, are you going to the pool party with James Gandolfini or this guy? I'm going to tell you this guy because I already know the answer. It literally is this guy. But the Stephen Hawking, like, I get it. She's told me that she's thought my intelligence is sexy, which I thought was pretty awesome. But I will mention this. I don't get the whole, you come have sex with me. And I know that's not what Stephen Hawking sounded like. Actually, I do not know that. You know, I I assume that I think that I know what he sounds like, but I don't 100% know that. Okay, let's get into the show. I mean, we're 26 minutes into this, people. But yeah, we got into this. So the speed, the crack, so my mother was convinced that I had ADD because she needed to have a problem that could be solved. It couldn't just be that I was a child that had a lot of energy. That energy had to be because of something. So then she goes, "Hey, little guy that seems like you're on crack. Why don't you take meth?" Which I will tell you, that's probably why young kids lose their teeth. Hope that sound worked because once again, my fingers on that button. I'm just going to leave them there. Like I may tape them there at the beginning, which means I only have a trombone and a snare drum, but I'm all right with that. So anyway, my mom thought that I had this. So I think she even made it worse. And then she did some things that as an adult, I believe that patience is a finite resource. And while Bobby doesn't necessarily believe that, she understands why I would think that. So my mom can't get out of anywhere without it being so sorry to stop, but this is one I'm just thinking I can just try to get to the story. So when my dad was still alive and he was in a scooter, we would eat in their big restaurant at their retirement place, Tallgrass. And it was a jaunt back to their place. Bobby and I, healthy, free stroke for me. My dad had a scooter and my mom was fine. Problem was my mom can't get out of anywhere without talking to everyone. You could say we need to go. We're in a hurry. Oh, let me just say hi. I need to go touch them on the shoulder. Hi, how was your corn pie I know corn pie is not a thing, or I don't think it is because it sounds disgusting. How was your corn pie from 2 weeks ago? I mean, the stupidest shit. And so a lot of times we would leave her because we're adults now and we were just fuck this shit. And so my dad would drive off and then my dad would drive off first. So you could tell how frustrated he was because we're there 1 or 2 days a week. He's there 7 days a week with her. So he would drive off back to the apartment and Bobby and I would generally like walk back and try to catch up with him and stuff. He had it set very high though. Like he was like Spinal Tap. His scooter didn't go to 10, it went to 11. So anyway, but as a child, I was like that. So my mom, we already went to Sunday school and church. So we were there for 2 hours. There's like an hour in between or 45 minutes in between services. And then my mom, of course, had to get there early and stay late. And usually very late. And the rule was I was not allowed to have fun or have any energy spent. And she heard that, she'd be like, "Oh, Rod," that would be her response, not, "I made you feel that way," or, "I don't remember that," or, "I'm sorry." None of that. And that would never come up, an apology like that. So, but I would have to stand there. So typically 3 to 4 hours on a Sunday morning. After you've probably given me sugary cereal at home before we set off on this 3 to 4 hour church journey. Yeah, I think my patience is gone. I was supposed to just stand there. Yeah. I remember one time I literally threw up. I was like, "I'm not feeling well. Can I have the keys? I need to go to the car." I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to picture it because I know the station wagon that we had. And so I threw up in the parking lot. And in fact, I had it all over my shoes. So I went back in. I told my mom I threw up and she goes, "Okay, we'll go lay down in the car." And I remember the person being shocked that my mom, who was so caring about children, wasn't more concerned about their own child. Anyway, so I was given speed as a child. And if you go, how do you know you didn't have ADD? So as an adult, my mom still thought that I had ADD. So when I had graduated high school, that summer after high school, before I got ready to do anything post high school, she needed to know, not they. My dad did not give two shits. He loved me because I was me. She needed to know what was wrong with me. So she thought that I had ADD. It was a big argument. I'm not even sure it was called adult. What is it? Adult attention, adult something. It's now ADHD, adult. I don't know. It's something like for adult. And that wasn't even a thing. It was still just ADD. So anyway, she found the best person in Kansas City, best psychiatrist that focused on this and everything. And so they ran a whole bunch of tests on me and did all these different types of things. And they came back to my mom and they said, he does not have attention deficit disorder, but he is super smart. And my mom argued was, yes, he does, because I diagnosed him with that as a child. And then went to our friend Grace Ketterman to get him some medicine. And then secondly, he got a 2.09. That's what he graduated with in high school. So how is he super intelligent? So that's where my mom comes for me. Because she has to be right. It can't be, someone cannot be smarter than her about anything. It's very funny. So I will tell you this about almost everyone. Whatever they say they dislike, that is their problem. That is their own issue. That's why they dislike it and you, I guess they want to be the only one. Like, so an example would be, so I have a friend who he used to have some business partners, which he doesn't have any longer. The business is now defunct. But he would always complain about how trying to get them to commit to anything or put anything on a calendar was almost impossible. And if you did, then it didn't really mean anything. And I don't want that part to be edited out because I was just staring at the camera. Because me and my wife, I've known you for 40 plus years. And my wife's known you for almost 30 years. And that is your worst quality. Oh, fuck sakes. I mean, you couldn't commit to. So, and I'm not using names because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus that, whatever. So here is my example. So for a long time, our relationship would be, man, because we weren't married and we weren't with anyone. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Nothing. And we'd go hang out or whatever. And then when we got married, it was still like each one of us was like, hey, can you hang out? Yeah. And then it'd be like, let's do it. And it was still on a fairly quick time frame. And then it got to be, we had kids and everything. So it'd be like, hey, we got to get together. Oh, yeah. And we would set a time and a date or something. Well, this person is the type that if you say, hey, I fall into my old habit. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? Remember, I've had a stroke, so I'm doing nothing ever. So, what are you doing? And they're like, oh, I can't. I already know what the excuse is. I don't need to fill it in. Bobby knows what the excuse is. Always the same excuse. And it has been for a long time. But the thing is, there's never a counter. Oh, it's always I can't. Okay. So when can you? I don't know. I got to look. I actually invited them to do something 3.5 weeks, nearly a full month in advance. And their first response was, oh, that's a business day. Yeah, that's why I'm giving you 3.5 weeks notice because you're a fucking tool who I already knew they weren't going to be able to get out of this. But they actually said, I don't, I'll probably have work stuff going on. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm sorry. I mean, that's what I think is funny. So that was the deal. So when I had my stroke, when I was in the hospital and they came in and I thought I was probably dying just because the only thing I remember them saying was, I am so sorry. I don't know what led that, probably blame Brie, but I don't know what was going on, but I am so sorry. And then I didn't, Bobby wasn't there yet and stuff. But you know what I didn't think? I didn't think, gee, I wish I had one more day of work. Gosh, those clients, If I die, they're never gonna have that campaign started. Fucking tool. Why are you trying to find every excuse you can to get out of work? Unless it is something that is so. Why am I better than most? Because I would do this. Like if you called me and asked me to do anything, I would probably say yes to it. Like especially during work. Like why do you think I love golf so much? And I got so many other people addicted to golf. Because you got to leave the office for long periods at the time. Yeah. Get the owner of the company involved in golf, addicted to golf. Boom. You are set. Okay. So I realized when I was young that I was smart. Now, who I was comparing myself to wasn't always but I remember being first or second grade. And the only reason I say that is I don't really recall past then where you really did spelling words. Like you did a lot of spelling words in first and second grade, I think. And then you kind of like were doing more like using the words in sentences. I think in third grade, we're fucking learning how to write cursive. And you guys don't even know how to write cursive right now. So, yeah, different times, right? So I always knew that I was smart or intelligent, but I was an athlete. So that was much easier. Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, if you sit down for me, I love Jeopardy. I love all types of Jeopardy, some more than others, some less than others. But with Jeopardy, I would feel like if I had a half an hour to sit down and watch Jeopardy or half an hour to play basketball when I was young, I would have played basketball. I mean, that it got energy out. I was able to, it just would have been different for me back then. And I never had to embrace it. You know, in school, you get away with a lot of stuff if you're an athlete. So, athlete. Now I got that in my head. Athlete. Whatever. Don't care. I've had a stroke. So I realized once I got to high school, though, so I would be in certain classes. That and every once in a while, I try to find someone that may be able to corroborate a story. I don't know if this is right or not. So one of my favorite math teacher was Mr. Paul. I don't even remember which math class he taught. Some advanced mathematics. Now, I have this feeling that John Lee, who is a neighbor of mine, we'll talk about here in a bit. I think he was in that class. And I think he was probably one of the people who were like, why is Rodney in this class? Which I didn't take as a slight because, like I said, a lot of times people would, well, you're not getting the award. You're not getting this. You're not on honor roll. You're not. So they're not visibly seeing that. So they don't, oh, you aced every test. Okay. And you weren't here and that's 70% of our grade and 70% is a C. You know, you can understand you ace all your tests and you turn in one homework assignment and you get a 2.09. Let's go back to my mom for a second. That's one thing that she hated. She hated the fact that everyone said that I was so smart and I would ace the test. And they would even say, well, it's because he's not turning in his homework. And so she would want me to do my homework. Why? So I can graduate higher in my class. And in the 80s, every state school had to accept you. So you were going to college and you didn't have to go to a community college. You could go to a University of Missouri, a University of Kansas, a K-State. I'm sure there's Missouri State, something or other. But you had to be accepted to those. So it didn't matter to me. I mean, I think you could pretty much get into grad school with a 2.0 back in the late 80s up to about the 90s. I think Professor Scott Galloway, economist, talks about that. I think he went to Stanford from UCLA and had graduated with a UCLA with that. So you could still do that. Whatever. We'll get, maybe we won't get to that. Anyway, so John, so I remember in Mr. Paul's class, there would be times where only one person would get the answer correct. And then it would be like, who was it? And I would raise my hand. And I got to the point where I was embarrassed. And then he would call me out. And then I would even find mistakes on tests that he would put in on purpose. And I would call Mr. Paul on that out after class. I'd be like, did you purposely make a mistake in there? And he'd be like, I don't know. Actually, it would generally be, he'd be standing there and he would have his pinkies in his pockets with his hands out. It's a weird way to stand, but I saw him stand like that in probably 10th grade, one of my math classes. And I remember him from that. And he always, like me, probably super genius, like me, would always just go off on tangents. He'd be doing a math problem up there, and then he'd be like, and I'm going to try to do Mr. Paul's accent. I am not. A monkey went to the, no, that made Mr. Paul sound Indian, I think, or Nepali, maybe even Pakistani. I don't know. Maybe none of those. I'm not a dialect coach. But Mr. Paul would break into a story about like a monkey that was on a boat that, I don't know, escaped. So here's the thing. I wasn't paying attention to the math. And here's the thing also. Oh, this is weird. If you're a teacher, if you want to know you're a good teacher in high school, your kids aren't skipping. Because I skipped all the time. And I remember being in Mr. Paul's class because I liked Mr. Paul. There was a reason to be there. And it wasn't numbers. Numbers are great. I love numbers. Math, me, like a lot. Not as much as John Slatkin, evidently. And I'm putting him down because I don't want him to be, once again, I don't want him to be less than me. Like, I know I'm trying to be humble here. I'm almost positive that I got a 99th percentile on my SAT mathematics. I always say 98 because I'm a humble guy. If you know me, I'm nothing but a humble. Okay, stoned and humbled. Stoned, brilliant, and humble. That's me. Brilliant, stoned, and then humbled. That is me. So you guys know me. Yeah, God, I loved Mr. Paul's math class. And when they would ask, I got to the point where I was embarrassed because I was like, I think that if I was, I'm going to use the term nerd. And I only mean that as not probably playing the sports that I played, which means different. Like I stopped playing soccer. They could have played soccer through high school and been state champions and I'd have no friggin' idea. So now we would call them incels. Back then they were just nerds. Or probably the AV club or band team. I did have, if you listen to the high school in sports, I did talk about the band team. I mean, and that's what we love. We love the band team. Like it wasn't like, band team, we're going to score 200. We love them. We enjoyed that. That was something I think that I can't speak for the band, the intramural band team of 1985, 84, 85, Honey Mission South intramurals. But I would say that the band team enjoyed giving up 200 points to the Raider Rejects as the Raider Rejects did scoring those 200 points against the band team. And I think we all had a good laugh about it afterwards. And then we went and hung out with girls and they went and played their instruments. Oh, I hope I got that button right. And I hope you heard it. And if you didn't, I'm not talking about anything. So I never in high school had to worry about my intelligence because I was a sports guy. And then after high school, I was still a sports guy. So I played, and I played quite often. And I played at a high level against top level NCAA athletes and NBA players. So I was doing that. And that's what my friends were doing. And then as we were getting a little bit older, and by older, I mean mid-20s, some people started dating. Some people didn't have time to play 9 hours of basketball a week, stuff like that. So different things were going on in everyone's life. Work, family, life, stuff gets in the way. So as I started slowing down and playing basketball, that's when I really focused on my intelligence. So in around 1990, so about 4 years post high school, I took a test at a local library, the 95th and I don't know that cross street, Maston, maybe. I don't know if that's right. Anyway, in Overland Park or in Lenexa, Kansas, or somewhere in Kansas, suburb of Kansas, I took the test. It wasn't there, I don't think. I think it was the 83rd and Mission branch. So that 95th Street, that's where we used to go that's where we went for school work until I became a high schooler and can drive. Then I returned to the 83rd and Mission branch because that's where the Shawnee Mission East girls studied. And if I'm in a library, I am at that age. I was not there to study. Okay. Let me repeat. Is Bobby, like, I can't do, obviously, the Stephen Hawking thing, but like, if I went in and Bobby was like at a library and I was like, hey, baby, what are you doing? She would be like, you now. And then we would be outside doing it. Now, granted, I'm 7 years older than Bobby, and the fact that she's in high school would put me like, I don't know, early mid 20s, probably doesn't need to be going outside with me, even though I'm using that sexy Stephen Hawking voice. So anyway, I take the test. I score a 136 on my IQ. Hold on. That's applause if you don't know. And weirdness. Applause and weirdness. So anyway, I qualify for Mensa. So I joined Mensa, and they have these things. And this is the early 90s. So the internet's not really around. I mean, home computers and floppy disk, and people were not getting on. We were still using magazines to jerk off back then. Okay. We weren't using the internet for like 3 to 5 years later. So before we started using it to jerk off. I mean, because here's the thing. As soon as the internet was invented, jerking off followed real quickly. I mean, it took a while. Like, you had to wait for the picture to load. But like, depending on if it was loading bottom up or top down, which generally it was top down, you'd be like, oh, she's hot. And like, oh, she's making that face. And then it's like, look at those boobies. And then you get down and you find out that she's 11 months pregnant. And you're like, no, thank you. How did I not see this coming? Because this guy's not coming. There may or may not have been sounds there. So I joined. So Mensa at the time, I don't know if it's still the case. They had I believe I paid monthly. I may have paid yearly to be a member of Mensa. And they had these things called SIGs, which are not the cool guns. SIGs, SIG, which stands for Special Interest Groups. For Mensa, you got to be a 132 to get in. So I'm a 136. So I barely get in before the door closes. That being said, I may not know where all the smarty smarts, like I'm smart, they're smarty smarts. I may not know where they go to find out what's going on in the smarty smart world. So in early 2000, I was working with Sprint, and I was still a member of Mensa, and I had known about the special interest groups. I'd never gone to one, and I was in Minneapolis, and I don't know why Mensa. I was going to say, I don't know why Mensa loves libraries, but it's probably because there's books in them and you can learn there. But so I was in Minneapolis for work. I had nothing to do at night. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do exactly what Bobby would think I would do. I'm going to go find a smart group. Yeah. So I went to find, and it was at the library. And I don't know if there were more than one in Minnetonka, by, I believe, not too far from the Carlson Towers. That's where I would train when I would go up there, which they used to call the Twin Towers until. So it It was a library near there in the Minnetonka, Lake Minnetonka area. And so I went, and I remember there are a lot of freaks here. Like, and here's the thing about super smart people. I do understand so your genius, if you want to know who the genius is or the retard in your family, is like at a wedding or a family event, whoever dresses up, because that's an event. I get that. And then you see someone wearing shorts. You're like, okay, well, they're either too smart or too dumb to know what actual, what they would call normal protocol would be. Not protocol, whatever. So, and here's the deal. That's the thing that I like about the super smart people. They're smart enough to know I don't need to dress up for this. There's no reason for me to do that. I get that. Dressing up makes you stand out. And I will tell you, a lot of smart people have to have jobs where they have to dress up. So, anyway, so I go, and there's just these weird people. I mean, they're like, okay, and this is like 2000, 2001-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. These were different times. Like tattoos were still thought of differently then. Like at Sprint, you still couldn't have a Best Buy during these times. You could not have visible tattoos. At Sprint, you could not have more than one piercing as a male, one piercing per ear in the. If you wore a hoop, it couldn't be larger than a dime. How do I know all this? Because I fucking had to take an earring out to show them it wasn't bigger than a dime. You put a dime in your ear, it's pretty fucking big. Even as a hoop, not even as a gauge. So anyway, there are a lot of people that are like tattooed and pierced, and there are a lot of like leather biker jackets, even though none of them had been on a motorcycle. And I would dare to say many of them had never been on a bicycle before. But there was a lot of, And then like, they were weird. So I've already done this show and I scrapped it. I actually erased it. I was so disheartened, not disheartened. The sound was bad too. I got rid of the whole thing. So this is what I wrote about the special interest groups so these notes that I wrote for this show months ago. So I can pull a muscle. Let's try maybe it's a wire or something. Maybe I'm not, I don't know. So I wrote these notes weeks ago when I originally wrote show 400 or 399, whatever show this was. But I wrote not a dating pool. It's not. Now I will tell you that a lot, often the reason that people of high intelligence may join a group with people of high intelligence would be because then you can talk. It's not like going to a bar and I can't talk to you because you're a fucking idiot. So you've narrowed that down. You've left all the idiots at the door. Okay, except for me. You left all the idiots at the door. And so then you have so then it becomes a good dating pool if that's all, if you're looking for. Like if someone of super high intelligence wants to find someone in the dating pool, they're going to, as super high intelligence. And it doesn't mean necessarily in the, in like a group, like I belong. But it doesn't, I mean, those people of high intelligence are probably going to have a peripheral, they're going to have things. What are they? Fucking stroke. The circles where they overlap. It's fudge sickles. Sometimes I love that I had a stroke because I sound like a genius, don't I? So they would have more in common than, say, the regular person. And if you're off more than one deviation, and you can look those up, it's really hard. It's really hard to have long-lasting conversations or relationships with people that you just don't think the same way. I mean, it's the same way in everything. It's the same way that, say, people that are fit hang around with a lot of people that are fit. If you look at the people that I grew up with and hung out with, they were all fit and everything. We did sports, we did things. And that was it. And we thought that was strange when people weren't like that, just as they thought we were just as strange for doing what we did to stay fit. And it is what it is. But when you join those groups, there's a guy online and he has joined 16 high IQ groups. And it's funny because I watched a video of his and I've only seen one. I can't even remember his name. It's been pre-stroke. But he goes, people often ask me, why have I joined 16 high IQ society? And he goes, because if I joined 17, it sounds a little pretentious. And I just thought that was hilarious. So there's a lot out. Ones that I think there's actually a high IQ society that no one's ever qualified for. I mean, I don't know if that's like the King Arthur's sword stuck in the stone and pull it out and whatever. I mean, that sounds like a totally legitimate story for me. And there we have King Arthur. So let's get back to the SIGs. People were weird, okay? So I found that out and I was like, okay, that's just different. And then I don't know how I heard about it. Once again, smart people will encounter smart things. Dumb people perhaps will encounter dumb things. So somehow I heard about the International High IQ Society, which had only been around less than 10 years. It started actually, I believe, as the New York High IQ Society, and then had so many whatever. So I somehow heard of it. They said that they would accept my test because with Mensa, you have to be in the top 2%, 132. For the High IQ Society, you had to be at 124, the top 5% of society. So 1 in 20. If you count yourself, it means 40 before you find someone else, or conceivably could find someone else similar to yourself. So I was like, oh, so I can use my tests I've already taken to qualify for Mensa. I can use that for entrance into the High IQ Society. And at that point, there was a lifetime membership. You just pay once. And I was like, that's better than paying monthly or yearly. Sign me up. So I did. So so then I quit Mensa. Because I was like, there's no reason to be two. The thing that I like about the International High IQ Society is that because at a 136, I am now, so that puts me in the top 1%. So at a 136, I don't have, like below me to 132 in Mensa, I didn't have a lot of people. Like, my command of the minions beneath me, the pool wasn't great. Okay. There's only, a handful of points, 4 points below me. What am I? So now all of a sudden I can go people 12 points below me. So I have a lot more of let's call them a fan base, if you will, and not a fan towards me, Roro. Because I will tell you that is one thing. And I have screenshotted those and I show those to Bobby all the time, that people will tell me that I am not like others in there. Because, and when they say others, they mean the really smart people. I think now that I think about it, and I'm saying this out loud, they're putting me down. Like, you're not like the others in here. Like, I see, because my ego is so fucking huge, I always think that people are talking about me in the positive. So maybe they were actually speaking about me in the negative. Maybe they were actually like, yeah, you're not like other people in here because you're a 136. I know, I get it. So now I'm in the International High IQ Society. They seem to be, and this is in the early 2000s where things are just starting to do things. They seem to be a little bit more of at the time, technologically savvy high IQ society from where I came from. which was fine. So I could go on and check things every once in a while, make my comments. So they'd be like, "Oh, you're so funny. You're not like us. How did you get in here? Retest." They were saying lots of things to me. So when I first met Bobby, I was still playing a lot of basketball. And as that tailed down, both because of my knees and us having children, I started leaning on that intelligence. And I will tell you that one thing that I've always thought, Bobby thinks my intelligence is sexy, which I always think. So sometimes I will find that. I will see her and she thinks she's being so coy, and she can deny it, but her eyes aren't denying it. There will be times where like Jeopardy will be on. And this is civilian Jeopardy, not celebrity Jeopardy, because they've now come up with terms. So Bobby and I used to just call it celebrity Jeopardy and regular Jeopardy. Or not in front of Bobby, but sometimes I may call it dum-dum Jeopardy. No, I'd never call it that. But celebrity Jeopardy, and now it's called civilian Jeopardy. And I'm fine. Like I could go on, like if they called me today and say, you don't have any time to study, you just need to be on this show this afternoon, I'm fine with that. I would feel confident that if I didn't let my hubris get in the way, that I would be there for Final Jeopardy, meaning I would have positive money. I'm not even close to suggesting that I would win, but I am saying that I'm going to answer enough questions correctly and know the ones that I did. That would be my big problem. I'm pretty sure I know this. I 99% know this. I need to stick to the 100%. Okay. I don't know. So, but I feel confident enough in that. And I know that sometimes Jeopardy will be on, I'll be answering questions and I'll see Bobby look at me. And I know she just wants to get in my pants. I mean, Bobby, I know you're trying to hide it, but you're not doing a good job. So I do like that a lot. And I will tell you, people out there, you smarty smarts, there should be other people out there that will look at you the way Bobby looks at me. Actually, yeah, they should. You should be so brilliant that you just bowl someone over. I have said this before and I will say it again. I dislike dumb people. And I think it's gotten worse because when I was growing up, dumb people knew they were dumb. I think I blurted out the R word earlier, and I know a lot of people have an issue with that word. Let me help some people out real quick. That word was not to describe someone that had mental deficits, challenges, disabilities. That's not what that was about. So the actual definition for retarded is that they don't learn at the same pace as others their age. They don't learn at the same pace as others their age. Doesn't mean it could be it could be for whatever reason they're not learning. But then, so to make disability sound less harsh, they took that word used for children that did not have actual disabilities, but were referred to as retarded. They took that word. Okay. And then they said, this is our word now. And I'm not, you can, whatever you want, you can go back and look at the history of how a word was used. Same way in the 70s, gay. Do you know what gay meant? It meant happy. Gay meant happy. You're a happy child. You're a gay child if you're a happy child. Well, then a group decided, well, we want to use that word because we're happy. And yeah, you are happy. You can use that word. You don't get to keep the fucking word. So if I want to be gay now, what were you doing this weekend? Oh, I had a gay weekend. I will explain. And that's on you. However you want to decide that. But I'm telling you, I had a happy, joyous, fun weekend. Okay, that was a side note. So here's my, I think this is where I started with it. So people have problem with it. That's fine. Whatever. You can. I will tell you with me and with many people of high intellect, we will find it less cumbersome to deal with you than not deal with you. So I won't speak for everyone, of course, that's in a society. I will only speak for myself. There is only one person on the face of this planet that I have met that I would not be able to walk away from. Everyone else, if I never saw him again, I could deal with that. I would probably give some of you second thoughts, most of you not, but I don't have those sorts of attachments. I don't have those sorts of feelings. I don't have any of that. And I love that. I love not, it's not that I don't care. It's that I'm not going to let you and your life impinge on me. I'm not saying I don't want to impinge on your life. Live your life how you want, and I will leave. So let me tell you, many of you that have listened to the podcast for a long time have known the story of the two Jasons. So here's the deal. I don't like having people in my life that have the same names. It's too confusing. This Jason, that Jason, this Mark, that Mark, one and done. Now, here's the deal. It is not a first come. It's not like the Supreme Court where, oh, you're this name, you're Derek, and so you'll always be Derek. I have a Derek. Derek? And there's only one Derek because for a while there were two Dereks. And one was D-E-R-E-K and one was D-E-R-R-I-C-K. I kept the I-C-K. I kept the Ick Derek, then the other one. The Eck? No, the Ick. That's who I kept. Oh, that's how I should. Your Derek or with an Ick or an Eck? Anywho, anyhow, anyway, it's too much. You have to do this. So my feelings being able to turn off. There is someone that I know. I still know them. I knew, I hung out and things. And they did something post-stroke. And you know what? Here's the thing. This is not throwing someone under the bus. This is saying you got to be responsible for your own fucking behavior. So I had them on the podcast, not their first time on, and they often like to be, it was like point counterpoint. If you remember that from the original Saturday Night Live, who was it? Gilda Radner and Dan Aykroyd. Jane, you ignorant slut. Oh, could you imagine saying that on TV today? A guy saying you ignorant slut? Anyway, not within a couple months after my stroke, when I was thinking that I was well enough to do my podcast, maybe up to 4 months post-stroke, I had them on. And they were doing a lot of things that I was just like, I'm done with this. I'm not. If this is really how you're going to be and act, because here's the deal. I know you're smart in that. There are enough dumb people that you could tell them smart stuff and they're not going to get it. This Jason was one of them. And they decided that they wanted to continue to push my buttons, which pre-stroke, I let happen and everything. It was that I was okay with that. And I would push back. Well, post-stroke, I was not okay with this. I was not okay with someone intentionally trying to get a rise out of me, knowing that if you get a rise, if you said getting a rise out of someone, unless it's the dick, is that the same as you're raising someone's blood pressure? And almost everyone's going to say yes. So they were on purposely trying to get a rise out of me. And I actually don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't remember how it ended. But I remember afterwards I talked to him and I said, oh, I don't think I ever released the episode where we were talking. And I got so upset that with them that they were doing this on purpose to me that I stopped. And I told them we shouldn't talk. And I think that's been probably 6 months ago or more. And I know they have taught me lessons. They have taught me what my wife must feel like when I send her reels all the time, because this Jason still sends me a ton of reels. Jason, if you're listening, I don't know why, but if you are, you don't have to send the reels either. I do not watch them. But if you need someone to send them to, I will watch them. I shouldn't do that. If they're going to take the time for that, I can take the time to see. But most of, I have watched a couple of them, I guess. And I feel like they're the same stupid stuff that, so there's no. And here's the deal. Like I said, I can walk away. You know what? That's just me. But my problem with dumb people is that generally, and this is the problem that I have with this Jason, is that you're smart enough to know. And especially when I tell you, you're smart enough to know not to behave like that, not to do that, not to have behavior like that, whatever. And it used to be where you could tell someone that wasn't really smart, this is the way, and they would be able to see that you were, even if they didn't understand the concept, whatever you were talking about, they at least were smart enough to know that you're smarter than them. And I'm just, oh, okay, whatever you say sounds good to me. And that was good. Those were the good times when dumb people would defer to smart people, because that's how it should be. And I'm not saying everyone should always defer to me. I'm only saying the people beneath me should. I'm just kidding. Like, a plumber shouldn't defer to me ever, probably. Like, I can help them with what I put in the toilet, but that's not going to help clear it. Hold on. Probably should have had a sound for that one. So anyway, yeah, knowing, not frustrating someone. And so here's what's going on right now. So I had to write it down. Celebrity Masters is on. So when you win Celebrity Masters, then you go to the Tournament of Champions. So this is a puzzle right here. This Bob Marley. This is the puzzle that broke Bobby right there. It's missing a piece. That's what I get for buying at the half price bookstore. So, but they had this puzzle. So I asked Bobby, I go, can we do that? And she was doing puzzles like in 2 nights. She'd get home from work, do one. The next night should have it finished. 1,000-piece puzzle. I think this is a 1,000-piece puzzle. And so I got it for her. And this took her, I believe, 2 months or almost 2 months. So all of the black, cover that. All of the black, his hair, his shirt, that was almost impossible for Bobby. And the reason I bring that up is I have found out that on the Celebrity Masters and then the Tournament of Champions, I am much like Bobby is on this puzzle. Because when Bobby would do this puzzle, she would get like 2 pieces in a half an hour, and she would be so excited. Man, she'd come over like she was exhausted too. Whew, got 2 pieces done over there. And I would be like, oh, that's awesome. I would actually be like, because I would see her, she would be like, I have tried every piece in this spot and it doesn't go. I totally get you, babe. I see the pain that you're going through. But that's how I feel on the Celebrity Masters and Tournament of Champions. Like, if I can get 1 or 2 questions right, I feel good. Like I say, Civilians Jeopardy, they could pull me out of the audience and I would get up there. I would need to have a suit. I would get up there and have no problem with myself and my command of that board. I would have no problem. I am not saying I'd win. I'm not saying I would even be close. I'm going to be there for, I would hang around till Final Jeopardy. But yeah, those other ones, I get it. Like, I don't, like, how much does their viewership drop? Like, do the dumb shit. Like, I wonder where the bottom, the floor is for people watching Jeopardy. Because I will tell you that when you see Celebrity Jeopardy, which is significantly easier. So when you're watching Celebrity Jeopardy, a lot of the celebrities, they'll ask a question like, oh, you know, My family, I used to watch it with my grandma. So it seems like they were around it all the time. But boom. So you got to talk stuff out. Celebrity Jeopardy, they always watched it with someone else. They never just watched it by themselves. Boom. Celebrity Jeopardy versus civilian Jeopardy right there. Okay. More. See, sometimes you got to talk things out and you can figure out patterns. But literally, go back and watch Celebrity Jeopardy. Listen to any of the people that go, what is your familiarity with Jeopardy? All of them are going to say they watch it with a parent or a grandparent or something. And they're adults now. You can watch this shit on your own. They're celebrities. They don't have time. You got time. If you're that smart, you will find out. You're not watching Real Housewives of anything. Like, do I love a good cat fight as much as anyone? Yeah, I do. I will watch that. And I will tell you, the hotter, the better. I mean, like the original, like the plastic, what was it? Real Housewives of New Jersey. I'm not going to say that they've had plastic surgery because I do not know that for a fact or fiction. I will just say that if you're going to grab someone by the extensions from across the table and yank them across pudding and other like gelatinous desserts on a table, which I don't know why they would be having pudding. I don't know why they would be having pudding or gelatinous desserts, which the only one I can think of would be like actual like Jell-O. So, and I don't remember that happening in Real Housewives of New Jersey. Now, I will tell you, there is one that they were dragged across a Twinkie bar. Dang it. I don't even know what I just hit. Wow. Okay. I meant to hit a sound, which would have been really, bam, impactful there, but I did not. I hit something and something came up and I had not seen that, but there was a home button, so I pushed it. So much like my mom, I just push buttons until we got to here. I love being smart. I love it. I love it. I love it. That is why I'm hold on. I'm going to do the censor again. I'm going to stop taking and because I've heard a lot. I don't want to be stupid. That literally. So if I would have come back post-stroke and either had severely diminished mental capabilities, or even just sounded like I had those impairments, regardless of how good, like if they're like, oh, the weird thing is you got a shitty knee and hip, but the stroke, you can now dunk again, but you're dumb. I would not take that trade-off. No, 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 no. Oh, I love my intelligence. Love it. I love it. I love it. Embrace it. Let's see. I have never tolerated dumb people. I did. That's so as a youth, you're sometimes outside of school, you don't have to be around dumb people. And when you're a youth, unless you're super intelligent, you're not hanging out with those people anyway. So, but yeah, as an adult, you get stuck with them at work and like you can't escape them. And no matter how many cinder block walls are in between you and them, you can hear them screaming. Yeah, that's directed at a certain person. Let's see. Bobby thinks my intelligence is sexy. A celebrity match. What's this? I am. Yeah. Okay, that's about it. Did I go to, I didn't even make an hour and a half. But you know what? I did over an hour of this show yesterday, and I was not happy. And would I do more of this show? Yeah, but I got another show to do right after this because I dilly-dallied last week. So I got to so after I finish this one, I will have 2 more shows that I have to do in the next 4 days. Doesn't really matter when. I can spread them out. I got to get back on schedule. That will get me back on schedule. I don't have to push it any more than that, but I'm definitely doing another show today. Yes, I was looking outside to see if the sun was there. I don't know how much more summer's going to be around, and I don't know how much summers we have left. One person that I've really missed at the pool this year, Pam. So Pam and I didn't talk a lot. Pam was very loud. And the things that bothered me were often I would be by myself sleeping, and she would want to say hi to me, and it would wake me up. I didn't always handle that the best for Pam. Much better person than I am. She amazing. The pool is not the same without Pam. She passed away 2 days after Labor Day last year. So right at the end of summer. So she got to enjoy summer. And she was at the pool more often than I was. So when I talk about going to the pool, laying out in the sun, my dark skin, whatever. No, Pam. So we are going to have the Pam karaoke. Her last name started with K, so it was karaoke for the Labor Day weekend this year. So hold on. And I can't wait. I already have my songs. I almost want to make for our building it mandatory to go to this because I just think that would be best. So we've had 2 strokes and a transplant out of the 6 apartments in this building. So 50% of the apartments have had some sort of major medical issue within the past couple of years. So I think it's best that we all go there. I'm thinking about making it mandatory. If you're wondering, I will be singing to Bobby, definitely. I'm a Believer by the Monkees. It is my go-to because I, too, thought love was only true in fairy tales. It was meant for someone else, not for me. Love was out to get me. I was like, that's the way it seemed. Disappointment. It didn't haunt all my dreams, honestly. So that's not true. But I'm a believer because I saw her face. I'm a believer. I'm a believer. I can leave her if I tried. Yes. Was that a little Janis Joplin version of the Monkees and I'm a Believer? Yeah. But I'm singing it to my baby. Let's see. What else am I going to sing? I don't know. Yeah, I do. So I have a song list already, I believe. So Margaritaville, Cherry, by Neil Diamond, Margaritaville by what's his name? I want to do it's by Paul Simon. It is the one with Chevy Chase and the You Can Call Me Al. I don't know if I can do that. I used to be able to do it. I've had a stroke. Anyway, I should give you all the address and have you show up to karaoke, but I'm not going to. There is a 51% chance I will be retiring. Actually, there's no. So my my Speedo that I've had for the last couple years, because I always thought I wasn't going to continue wearing a Speedo, but yet I've continued to fit in my Speedo. The elasticity of the Speedo has given out before my desire to not wear it any longer. So, or to wear it long, whatever. So I noticed I put it on a few days ago and I can't feel my right side. And my dick was hanging out the right side, like fully, like it was a snake trying to escape. And I'm not saying it was a big snake. I'm not saying it was a small snake. I'm just saying it was a snake trying to escape my pants. And so, yeah. And so then I tucked it back in and I was like, well, let's see what happens. I did a little like Charo, like goo. And if you think that's racist, it's not. Look up Charo. I did the Gucci Gucci goo and my dingy dingy doo fell out again. So I believe those, I don't know. If I had a half chub or something going on, I think I could stay in. I think that would fill up the spot where the elasticity is no longer working. I think that my girth would be able to fill that up. That being said, I don't know how I stop it from going from regular flaccid to boner. I don't know how I stop that in the middle. Like it's trying to get a guy to stop peeing. Like girls can like just stop peeing. Guys, once that flow has started, you're risking injury. And do I know that to be true? No. Do I believe it to be true? I don't know. Maybe. Does it sound like a good story? If you've already started peeing and someone calls you on it, why are you going to stop? Oh, I'm so embarrassed. You're already peeing. Finish your business. Literally, is it going to be better to try to cut that stream off and put it away and then wet yourself? Is it a better story for the other person? Because then they're like, not only did I see so-and-so peeing in public, they also peed themselves. So 2 stories for them. You have 1 story if you just continue peeing in public. Now, will you probably have some sort of charge brought up against you by the police? Yeah, probably. You probably definitely will. Okay. Let's see. What do I have? That's it. I have not been working on my karate moves. I thought I should let you in on that. Yeah. I was going to talk about my blessings. I may talk about that on some upcoming show. What do I have written for the next show? 2 things that are very important. These 2 things that I know you probably can't read. It literally says, number 1, Vivaldi, concerto in F major for strings and bass. Okay. So this is what I wrote about Vivaldi, concerto in F major. Because this was written along. Tell me that ain't sex music. Okay, you probably can't tell me that. Like, people that are listening to classical music probably are not having a lot of sex, but I'm telling you that the sex music, like the way that, like, I think about, like, Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, that's how I think of Vivaldi. Like, whenever he lived. And I don't know if Vivaldi was 1700 or 1400s or I don't know. Like, both of those would seem appropriate. Like 16, I don't know. Like 15, 14, they had the whole, I don't know. It just seems like 1400s or 1700s. I don't know that to be the fact. He probably was born in 1801. I don't know that. I don't know when Vivaldi. I'm going to have to look that up. And it's probably one of those times that I didn't mention. So Vivaldi. Tell me it ain't sex music. That's what that. So you have homework before the next show. I want you. I mean, if you've already listened to an hour and a half of the show, you're going to go search for Vivaldi. So go find Vivaldi concerto in F major for strings and bass. Tell me it ain't sex music. And then the second thing that I wrote here is it's just 4 words and an exclamation point. Weed smells so good. Once again. From my lips to your ears, weed smells so good. And I get it. Like, my wife could take a pickle jar and smell pickle juice and not be appalled. I cannot do that. I can bury my face in flour and be happy camper. Does some of it smell? Yeah, but most of it smells good. She is just like me with the whole pickle thing. She doesn't like the smell. Thanks for listening to my show, this podcast. My name's Ro. I'm the Stone Genius. I will tell you also, so I'm finding things out. I've been using Gemini and ChatGPT back and forth for different things. I will tell you that creating a lifelike photo, this is just me personally, ChatGPT does better. If you need a photo, if you want it rendered like within the next minute or 2 minutes, Gemini. ChatGPT can take for fuck God ever. I mean, a long time for the same thing. So I've been using those a lot, but I will notice that when I ask them about the show, I say, can you give me a review of the Stone Genius podcast? Or I also did The Longest One Night Stand with Bobby and Ro. They both do well. They both summarize the show, but it seems more in depth and more, I don't know how to explain it. It seems like more of textbook out of Gemini, where you're just reading the words where you're like, oh, I'm feeling that they're making me feel this emotion about the show, or I can understand this, where I didn't feel that from Gemini. And remember, that's a thing. I didn't even get with that with intelligence. And I'm not going to talk a half an hour for 2 hours to this. Please don't let me do that. Please let me shut up after this. That's the thing that I hate about AI. Like, I know that you have to input information for it to output something for you. And the better your inputs, the better the outputs. So I assume my outputs are going to be better than inputs. But here's the thing, if I'm not running, now I am having to run everything through an AI just so that some 82 IQ isn't putting it in, and an 82 is not getting the same stuff. But there is AI is going to replace us all. And I'm okay with that. I really am. As long as it doesn't kill us or use our bodies for food or something like that. I mean, I obviously am okay with not making any money. It's because I can't feel half my body, which in the right line of work, maybe I can make even more money. I got that button right. Peripheral. And then it's like Braille. Like I can't show, like if these, yeah. I mean, so the buttons on this, I just have to learn them. I'm going to have to treat this as Braille if I'm not looking at it. And maybe that will help me. Maybe get my brain. I think I was saying something. I don't remember what it was. AI. Yeah, I'm not talking about AI. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk anymore today. I want to do. I don't know what that means. Anywho, anyhow, anyway, my name's Ro. I'm the Stone Genius. You've been listening to my podcast. This is it. I think there may be one more episode about my life, maybe next, that'll be about the girls, about Trinity and Morgan and Bobby. It will be about them. I talk about them a lot. I will probably do something more formal. Maybe I'll get Mo to join us from Germany. Who knows? I wonder how much German she's learned. Well, anyhow, said that too fast. My name's Ro. I got to take my medicine. I don't think I've taken it this. Maybe that's why I feel so weird. I'll dog y'all later. Bye.